Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Logic webinar. We're just going to give everybody a couple more minutes to jump in. Got a few more coming through. So in case anybody's wondering, this is a live webinar. So this is going to be absolutely executed perfectly, is it not, Liz? Everything's going to go very smoothly. Thank you very, very much to everybody for joining us. I see a lot of people jumping in at the moment, which is excellent. As I said, we'll just wait a few more minutes for everybody else to jump in, and we'll start exactly in 1 minute. I'm going to share my screen. And we'll get started shortly. Just got a few more people jumping in, which is great. I hope everyone's enjoying their Thursday. My goodness, has it been a week for us, Liz? Oh, all right. I think we'll get started. Liz, how do you feel?
Yep, let's do it.
Beautiful. Well, officially welcome to webinar 2 of the Your Success is Our Success campaign hosted by Logic. So today we're going to focus on your system architecture, how and why we need to get it right. So first, before we proceed, we would like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the lands on which we meet today. I would also like to pay my respects to elders past and present. So a little bit about who you're going to be dealing with today. If you haven't been on these in the past, my name's Kayla. I generally host the webinars and I bring along somebody from our team who has far more expertise in what we are talking about today. And that for us today is Elizabeth. So Elizabeth is responsible for helping organizations realize their vision of Logic, and she's going to be taking us through the system architecture for your Logic platforms and how to align that with your organization. So I want to give you guys a little bit of context about the webinar itself and the series itself. It was created to focus on the common challenges that are faced by our customers that we see through our support and our training channels, and really just making sure that we are providing you the tools to be able to make some changes within your platform without needing anybody else. To be able to action those changes on your organization's behalf. The real intention of providing these webinars is to make sure that we know with our organizations constantly changing in the real world that our platforms or our systems or our software are always behind. They're always generally behind. So the intention of these webinars is so that you have a moment to reflect on your organization as it is today in the real world and give you the tools to be able to make those changes in Logic, with the intention that those changes will then increase the usability of Logic for your entire organization. It will give you clearer understanding of the analytics that you are getting in there or the reporting that you're getting out of there. And it can also just keep up to date with the real life situations that you guys are dealing with on the ground in your organizations. So follow us along on this webinar journey, because this will be over the next couple of months, actually until the end of the year. We're going to give it to you in bite-sized chunk pieces so that you can take what you learn from each webinar and jump over and do the actual next steps, which is we'll give you at the very end. All right, so we've got a couple of polls that I do want to launch for you guys before we get started. And the intention of that is really just to hear from you how everything's going on your end in relation to the content that's going on in this webinar today. But before I do that, just remember that this session will be recorded. That's mainly for Elizabeth and I. But this session will be recorded. It will be provided on the Learning Academy and in our knowledge base. We will also get you the links to those in a post-webinar email, which will come out in the coming days. Just be a little bit patient with us. We like to get that content really clear for you guys with all the links that are possible and get those videos uploaded. So with that, I'm going to launch a poll. The very first poll that's coming out will just be about how well you feel your organization is aligning with the current configuration of your Logic platform. So you'll see that pop up on your screens. Feel free to just pop in a couple of your options: extremely well, somewhat well, neutral, not well, or I see minimal alignment between Logic and the organization. I'll just give everybody a couple of minutes to pop that in. Excellent. All right, I'm going to close that poll in a few seconds. All right, thank you. Fantastic. So it gives us a little bit of an idea, and a lot of you have come back with a somewhat well, so there's always room for improvement. Is that not the world of quality? All right, and the next um, poll that you would have seen is how frequently do you get questions from staff about how to find something in Logic? I have quite a few people saying that it is multiple times a day. So Liz, it's going to be excellent to be able to show everybody what we can actually do to increase or decrease the number of queries that they're getting per day, which will be really, really exciting. Thank you to everybody that completed that. All right. So today, again, we're going through system architecture, some of the outcomes that you will be able to achieve with this. Learn how to align your platform system settings with your organization's requirements. Strengthen your organization's ability to make informed decisions based on evidence, as absolutely no evidence is going to come from a word that you just don't understand, so you'll never report on it. So let's just make sure that that's correct. And then, of course, understand any relevant Logic services or features that can help you achieve some of these outcomes. So this is not about making sure that Logic is helping you to make these changes. We really want to give you the tools to be able to succeed on your own, but we really want to make sure that you understand that we are a partner for you to lean on, and we are somebody that you can use to help you achieve those outcomes. So with that, Liz, I'm going to hand over to you to start off our webinar today in the demonstration.
Great, thanks, Kayla. Welcome, everyone. I'll just share my screen and we'll get started. That way. Okay.
I've got that screen, Liz. Thanks.
Beautiful. Thanks, Kayla. A lot of what we're going to talk about today, in fact, all of what we're going to talk about today is going to happen in admin mode. So again, just under your name, click on admin mode. And on the left-hand navigator pane for that admin section, you'll see that there is a whole heap of administrator functions. And as Kayla said, this webinar series will go till the end of the year. And in that time, we will make sure to touch on every single one of them so that you have that really clear understanding of how the system works. Today, our focus is going to be on system settings here. And we really do want to focus on only a few of them. So we're going to go and have a look at the general settings, then what our core system menus are all about and how that impacts us as an organisation. There are some things that you can do at a register level as well. And then, of course, we can make changes to those individual drop-down menus, and we'll work with you through that as well. Let's have a look at our general settings first. The general settings apply to system-wide configuration or multi-register behaviour, and that includes things like having a user access log, making decisions around how we want our reporting registers to behave, or even making some policy decisions around security and privacy, timing out when Logic needs to close up. Every time you select or deselect one of these tick boxes, that change will impact on your platform consistently and throughout all your users.
Excellent, Liz. And can I just confirm our timeout there? Will this log somebody out? I can see I can make that decision.
Yes, absolutely. If someone has started, say, for instance, adding some feedback and they were called away, you can make a decision around whether you want the Logic to go to sleep after 12 hours of inactivity or whether you want to keep that session open until that user comes back. Now, if that user only comes back after 2 weeks leave, that could potentially create a security problem for you. So Logic's recommendation would always be to close that session after 12 hours of inactivity.
That's great, Liz. That's great. And is there a way in our general settings just to ensure that staff are notified of tasks that are coming up for a due date?
Yeah. Kayla, absolutely. If we look and we scroll down on that general settings page, we can see our system information settings just below. System information settings will only apply for your organisation based on the registers that you have. But you can set some rules in here that automatically make some determinations in your platform. For instance, how many days before a contract is due for review do we want the task to move into the contract manager's upcoming task box? Now, we've set a requirement here for 90 days, but you can absolutely come in and change that value so that it works for your organisation. Similarly, how many days does an approval officer have to complete a managed task on an incident, for instance? For some organisations, that may be a really tight time frame. And again, they can come back in here and they can change those details.
Right. And are these settings pre-configured at the moment? Like if I haven't gone in and made some changes, is there some defaults in there?
Yeah, absolutely. We set your system up based on the type of service that you are. So if you're a primary healthcare service or social and community services or aged care, we even look at whether you're an Australian service or a New Zealand service. We
Wow.
use industry specific examples and recognised practice as well. And that's why we'll always set it up as a default for you, but we'll also provide you with the configuration tool that applies to the default settings that we've provided for you. And you from there are able to look at the descriptions and make some changes to those menus.
Excellent. Thanks, Liz.
Okay. So let's move on to the next set of settings, which is our core system menus. Now, these four menus, sorry, let me just refresh that screen. These four menus are very unique to your organisation. And generally, as I said before, we'll put some default data in there for you. But once you've made changes to these four menus, you can absolutely go ahead and use your platform because these are the things that relate to your business specifically. The primary business area is the highest level of classification in the system. By allocating something to a primary business area, it gives you we want the primary business area to be the different functions across your industry or your business, but it also gives you a way to quickly and easily filter and find things that relate to that business area. Secondary to that, we could add some specific services that fall under that primary business area. And if we look at something here like corporate services, where corporate services is the primary, we have additional components in here that relate to admin, health and safety, human resources, and quality and risk. The next menu option here is our meetings. Meetings in Logic is a very powerful tool. It creates a second level of oversight as to what is happening and what requires our attention at any given time. Every time we complete the assigned component of a details form, we are required to send that to a meeting. The first level of responsibility is with the action officer or the approver to complete that task, close the document, approve the document. But the second level of oversight sits with that team where we can really emphasize our business practice. We can have transparency to see that everyone does the same thing. And at any given time, we can see where things are up in the workflow. This needs to reflect your organization's meeting structure as well. And at any time, we can edit these labels. So if the clinical review meeting changes to the clinical team meeting, we can adjust that and it impacts the platform immediately. The last one here is our positions. Now, as you're aware, everyone in Logic requires to be associated with a position. Logic associates the tasks that are assigned to a user with that position, meaning that when a user leaves the organization and someone else steps into that role, there's a quick transition from tasks from one person to the next. Logic does require, however, for those positions to be unique, and therefore we recommend that you use a numbering system if you have the same position or multiples of a same position.
Excellent. Thanks, Liz. I'm wondering, how would I manage, let's say, a multi-level management structure through the settings that I'm looking at the moment?
Thanks, Kayla. Logic does recognise that managers generally have responsibility across multiple programs, and that might even be across multiple primary business areas within your organisation. So our recommendation would be that in the governance primary business area, we create a title or a subcategory or a secondary business area called management. And therefore, any manager that has responsible across multiple entities, their user account can be set up with their business area as management.
Great. Okay. Okay. And why would it be important for our core settings to align with the organization? Like if I've got default items in there, why is this so important for me to adhere to?
These core settings is about your business. It is about creating or decreasing the amount of change management that we have to manage. If our users understand the language that is used, the things that they select from the drop-down menus are familiar to them, the name that they see in Logic is associated with their position, then it's easy for them to start using the platform because the language that they are used to is what they're seeing within the platform.
Okay, great.
It
And
also, sorry,
yeah,
Caleb, I just
that's
want
okay.
to add one more thing. It also makes it really easy for users to use then. And we then give managers and senior management teams, the board, really good analytical data because the data that they see in the analytics also reflects what happens in the organization.
Excellent, excellent. Yeah, I can completely understand that because if I don't have terms within there or particular reflection of my organization within this area, none of my menus are going to make sense from my reporting perspective. When my team members go to report an actual item as opposed to pulling analytics, if they go to actually report an item, they might be a little bit confused as to where certain things go as well, which
Yeah.
yeah, I completely understand. So is there a way that I can make similar changes to each register that we have active in our subscription, as we've just seen across the platform?
Yes, there are some functionality in each of, or in some of the registers where you can make changes to the register as an entity. And I'll use the feedback register as an example. You can see here that there is a range of settings that applies to that feedback register, and that impacts the form that the user accesses and what they are required to complete within that form. We can see here, for instance, that we can enable related services or program field. Now, when we enable this field, it creates an additional field that we can populate with the specific names of services or programs that we provide. So in, say, for instance, a client services environment, a compliment may have come from the Mums and Bubs group, or a compliment may have come from a daycare service that you provide. And enabling this additional field means that the complement is not so much about client services, but about Mums and Bubs or the child services program. Similarly, you can also enable information requests, which will add an additional component to your feedback register, allowing you to monitor requests of external agencies for additional information. And if you are a service that operates around multiple regions, you have an additional form here, which gives you another field that you can populate with where that feedback, which region of your organisation did that feedback come from. If you're a small organisation, you may choose not to select that one. So just by ticking those few boxes, we've empowered our users to add additional value to completing that feedback details form, which again, we can look at in our reporting when we export details out of the feedback register or in the analytics component as well.
Excellent, Liz. Excellent. Great. And this would come down to say things like if I don't use a particular term within my department or within our organization, say the word guidelines within our documents, and instead we use the word, say, process, how would I go about changing that?
Absolutely. This is the last level of menu change that you can make, is every single drop down that reflects a process or a title, something that we can search and filter on. So if your organisation doesn't, for instance, use a checklist, you can disable that. And if it does use a process, you can add that particular title to the register. If you click OK, and save at the bottom of your screen, that particular item will be added, can be selected in your drop down, which means when your staff who are familiar with the term process goes and tries and find that content specifically in the document register, they'll filter on that name and everything that they need will be clearly defined in their search parameter.
Excellent, excellent. So I just want to recap what we've seen today. So we've gone through our general settings, which again, and correct me if I'm wrong, Liz, but they are platform wide, so they will impact absolutely everything within our platform, or every item that is ever reported within our platform within our general settings. We've gone
Absolutely.
through, beautiful. We've gone through our core settings, and the real primary piece with our core settings to get right is just to make sure that it is genuinely reflective of the terms that are used within our organization, and that will then allow our users to adopt Logic a little bit easier and report items to certain areas correctly, because the terms in there will make sense to the people that are within our organization.
Correct. Yeah.
Very good. And of course, yeah, positions and meetings from that accountability and visibility perspective. It's very important to get those right within the organization.
Yeah.
So when I feel like that's a massive amount of information for everybody. And if you're not feeling as though your settings are aligned just yet, or the terms within Logic may not reflect your organization just yet, we can understand how this might feel like a lot of work, but just remember that we are here to help. And if you do have questions, please ask them. I am getting a couple of questions through the different channels on the webinar. Please know that if we don't have an opportunity to get to it in the time, we like to keep the webinars really short so that they are contentful for you. We will have your email address because you've registered. We will come back to you post-webinar. So please don't feel like you are not being heard. We will come back to you post the webinar, so post away. So Liz, if I revisit these, the settings after the webinar and all the great content that I've heard today, is there anything in-app that can help me to better understand what menu I'm looking at and what I should be doing in here?
Yeah, absolutely, Kayla. I just went back to our core system menus here and pulled up the position one specifically. And just below that, in-app, you can see an explanation and a description about what this menu is all about, why it's really powerful for us to get that right, and if there's anything else that we need to remember, like in the instance that if we have multiple positions that are the same, to use a numbering system to distinguish between those different positions. So absolutely, there is that in-app help. We also have our question mark in the circle, and of course we can use that whether we're in admin mode or in our normal user accountability mode, and that gives us access to the knowledge base as well as the Logic Academy to further strengthen our control over the information that we want to have.
Excellent. And I know that you touched on the platform configuration workbook as well a little bit earlier. I'd love to just bring that back up just to show everybody the
Sure.
content that is within there. So as Liz said earlier, this is an incredible document to be able to help you getting these settings in alignment with the organization. It gives you a little bit more deeper information about each setting and what the outcome or the value of the setting is, or the register menu is. Of course, giving you examples of what you can pop in there for a little bit of context. They are examples, you don't have to use them, but hopefully they put you on the right path to success. And of course, if you do have any questions, that little question mark that Liz showed you there in the Logic platform, not only is it giving you that access to the knowledge base and the Learning Academy, that Learning Academy is full of videos, but you've also got access to Ask a Human. And I know, shock, we are the humans. So when you come through to us, you are actually getting a response from a human. 2024, Liz, it's uncommon. All right. So beyond the self-serve help, Liz, is there anything that we offer from a service perspective that can help clients further or in their system settings considerations? Do we offer a service around that can help them out?
Yeah, absolutely, Kayla. We do have a service that's called Platform Realignment, and that will provide you with access to a platform specialist or a member of the customer success team to work with you to determine what your requirements are for the changes in your system, and work with you on how to implement those using the workbooks and other examples, industry examples that we have. So absolutely. And that platform realignment if you need some further information about that, you can access that via the in-app subscription page as well.
Yeah. Excellent, excellent. Okay. And once I have my settings aligned with the organization, would Logic have any actual features that can help me to automate the delegation and coordination of any reported events that come through? So say I report the event and it's, yeah, we know that it goes to this particular business area and we know that it goes to this particular meeting and this particular team. Is there ways to automate that so that it's not guesswork for the person that's reporting it?
Absolutely. Kayla, Logic has a product called Business Rule Builder. Again, if you want more information about that, you can get it on your subscription page. But Business Rule Builder applies to all of the reporting register, and it allows system administrators, management teams to customize the delegation and coordination of events. It gives you a range of fields where you can determine if this happens, then you can determine a specific response. So I would encourage anyone that's looking at a way to automate those types of components in Logic to have a good look in that in-app subscription and have a read about that, or reach out to us at Customer Success and we can provide you with some more information about that as well.
Excellent. Thanks, Liz. And look, attendees, I am getting a whole heap of questions through the meeting chat, which is excellent. Thank you. There's quite a lot of conversation or questions around user-based setup, so specific users and setting up a particular user. It will not be covered today. Today was all about the settings and making sure that Logic is aligning with your organization. But what we will do is absolutely grab those questions. There is an upcoming webinar about specific users, so please don't feel like we're ignoring you today. Like I said earlier, we will absolutely take the questions that you have asked in this webinar. We will still process them as if we would any other question. We will not make you wait for the next webinar. We will come back to you. Okay, so just for the sake of time, because again, we only have 30 minutes, and I appreciate I have not allowed enough time for the anticipated people that were coming on to here and all the questions that are coming through, and for that I do apologize, but I promise you will get answers to these questions, so please don't fret, we've got you. I will share my screen again now, Liz, just to really wrap up what we've got going on here, because I do appreciate everybody is under some time constraints. All right, just let me know you've got that, Liz.
Yeah, absolutely, Kayla, I can see that.
Great, thank you. So we do have the Q&A. I've got the questions that are coming through. Again, some of those are very specific to the users being set up. We will absolutely come back to you on those so that we can, we can get you answers to your questions early. And just remember that the Your Success is Our Success campaign is taking those bite-sized chunks for you. So today was all about those system settings, and we will absolutely cover off your questions post-webinar. All right, so just to call out the two items that Liz referred to during this webinar, the platform realignment service, and again, I appreciate that everybody has some different feelings about how their current platform aligns with their organization, and I'm really great to hear that everybody does not feel like it's a complete mess, I suppose, as per some systems can be. It's really, really great to see that good practice is being put into Logic to keep that up to date with the ever-changing environment. If you are struggling to do that, or if you'd like some additional assistance to do that, you can always reach out to us. or check out your platform realignment service that is available through your subscription page in-app. And of course, a business rules builder, as Liz called out earlier. What if you're really comfortable with what's going on within your Logic database, but what you're finding is that the guesswork for those people that are reporting items is just creating a little bit of a mess, or it's creating a role for somebody that has to go and redelegate those particular items, please check that out. It's in your subscription page within your platform. Have a bit of a read, and please feel free to reach out to us with any questions. We're more than happy to help always. So with 2 channels to get in touch with us. There is the customer success at logic.com.au, where we can talk about products and features and services and any documents that you don't currently have but would like to explore. That can come through to us. There's also our support team to talk to about existing functionality within your platform. It does not matter what channel you use, the right team who is most qualified to answer your question will come back to you, which is really important. So your next steps, and these are the actionable steps. And just remember, to everybody, I can see some questions about the documents. We will launch another poll in a moment so that you can tell us whether or not you would like that document sent to you, and we will absolutely get that done. So right now, the next steps, review your core settings. Just have a bit of a look, just make sure that they are accurately reflecting your operational context. And then, of course, review your register settings. So ensure these align with your organizational processes as well as the terms that are used within your organization. So what I'm going to do now is just launch another poll, and I'm going to do this very quickly while everybody's here, just to see who would like those system configuration workbooks. Bear with me. All right, it is incoming. There we go, team. Hopefully it's coming through in a minute. Excellent. I'm just having a quick look, Liz. Excellent. Thank you to those who were answering no. I love that. Look, we've got quite a few people who want the workbooks, which is fantastic. We will absolutely get these out over the next few days. Please bear with us so that we can get them organized for you and straight out. And again, thank you so much for your time today. Thank you very much for giving us an opportunity to share more Logic knowledge with you. And thank you for understanding that we couldn't get to the Q&A today. And I do appreciate your understanding on that. We will come back to you. And with that, Liz, I think we are ready to sign off. So thank you so much, everybody, again.
Have a great day, everyone.